Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 9th episode in our second season of the PrincipalED podcast. I'm your host, Grace McCallum, and I can't believe it's our last episode of the season, and we are going out with a bang today, my friends. We have a wonderful person with us. Every once in a while, you meet an educator who doesn't just teach at a school, but actually becomes part of its DNA, and that absolutely describes the wonderful human I have with us today, Miss Edith Louie. Edith, we are so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Our guest today, Edith, is a cornerstone of Branksome Hall. She's been here for 28 years. And if you've walked our halls, you have seen her beautifully decorated classroom, her vibrant classroom. Perhaps you have met her years ago when she was pioneering our school's very first service learning initiatives. She has worn so many hats since she has been here. Her journey at Branksome certainly has had many full circles. You joined us in 1998 as a passionate math teacher, rose to a visionary instructional leader who really helped shape our IB curriculum and restructured how we think about math and how we think about math spaces. And today you have a newer role. You're a vital bridge between our newest families as an admissions associate. And beyond all of that, beyond the numbers and the equations, you've been a champion for social emotional learning and a mentor to our team of 16 educators in that way. You've been the recipient of the very prestigious Rene Descartes Medal. And actually, you're one of the very first people that I met here at Branksome when I was applying to be the principal. When I tricked you all into hiring me, you were a part of that. And I'm forever grateful. When I first met Edith, I want to share a little story. Edith was so kind, and she gave us the miniature ribbit stuffies, which we loved. And I brought those back to Brazil, and my girls and I, we took them all over our adventures. We took them to Peru, and my goodness, we had ribbit sitting on a llama and at Machu Picchu. It was so fun. We got all these photos to share back with the community. And then we took ribbit to Germany. And we did pictures there and somewhere else. I forget where else. But we took ribbit all over the world, and that was your ribbit. So thank you for that, Edith. You were so kind. It's such an honor to have you sitting here today on the podcast.
Thank you.
Big warm welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you think, my friend? Just jump right into some questions?
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Let's chat. Yeah.
Well, let's chat. I love this. So you have been at Branksome for 28 years, but this year is special because it marks your 30th year in education. Yes. I think anyone who knows you would be shocked by this information.
Too kind.
Most people might not know that you were on the committee that interviewed me for the role of principal. So how does it feel to have the tables turned today? Now I'm the one asking you the question.
Well, I must have exceptional interview skills. Look, seeing the impact that you've made at Branksome, but in all seriousness, it was a privilege to be on the principal's search committee. And sitting across from you today as your guest and your colleague, I am so honored.
Me too.
I really feel like we're coming full circle.
Yeah, we are coming full circle. I love that. And I want to hear a little bit more about you. Well, I know a lot about you, but I want our listeners to hear more about you, your background, how you first came to Branksome. Maybe you can give us a little peek into who is Miss Edith Louie.
Well, sure. Well, this might sound a little bit cliche.
I love cliche. It's my favorite.
Well, when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I remember I'll come home and I'll line up my stuffed animals and I will teach them everything I learned from school on that day. And in some way, I think teaching is in my DNA because my parents, my aunts, my grandmother, they were all educators in some way or form. I often tell my diploma students that I didn't know that I wanted to be a teacher when I was their age.
Right.
I applied to study finance and ended up accepting to study co-op accounting. And it wasn't until I was flipping through that course booklet that I realized I had made a mistake. And so after some deep soul searching, I realized I actually wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to live in Montreal. So you can imagine, I ended up having to switch universities, switch programs at the end of August, just as the semester were about to start. And so this is why I always tell my students, especially during course selection time, that you got to listen to your heart.
You do.
Because deep in your gut, you know exactly what pathway you want to take and what are you passionate about. So after I graduated from McGill, it was a tough time to get a job in Ontario, but I was very fortunate. I landed with a full-time position at a local high school in Port Hope. And during my first year, I got to experience a piece of history because I walked the picket line.
Oh.
Yes. One of the biggest teacher strike in Canada. Wow. And we were protesting against an educational reform bill. So by the end of the second year, I was ready to come back to Toronto. This is where my friends and my families, they are here. And that's when I first met Karen, our former principal.
And she scooped you up.
Wow. No, she actually interviewed me for a job with the TDSB.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine.
Before Branksome.
So you can imagine my happy surprise when I learned that we're both starting Branksome together at the same time. It was pure serendipity.
That is so cool.
So, when I think back to that first day I was here at Branksome, I was here for my interview and I drove in early from Port Hope. I parked my car on Bloor Street, ducked into a cafe, hoping to just, read up all my notes.
Get caffeinated.
And then you can imagine the surprise when I came out and found my car was towed.
No way.
Like, I can laugh about it now.
The panic I can envision.
Oh, but I somehow managed to remain calm, went through the whole interview. It was only after the interview, and just for our audience, for the context, this is the time before we had cell phones and Google search.
So right now our students are pausing this podcast and they're like, can you believe that? It doesn't even make sense. How did they survive?
So this is how we survived. The administrative assistant went and grabbed the big phone book and helped me, found the phone number to the car pound, and so that I could retrieve my car. And then at the same time, one of the math teachers who interviewed me overheard the whole conversation and offered me a ride to the car pound. And so that was my very first impression of Branksome.
So Branksome.
It is, all the how kind and generous the people are. And I think that is still true up to today. Our visitors come and find us welcoming and warm.
And that's what I hear time and time again when I ask parents, like, why did you choose Branksome? Like, I don't know. It was the feeling I had. I came and it felt so kind and so warm. And I'm not surprised that was your first experience. I do think our students would be like, wow, that must have been a long time ago if there wasn't Google. And yet so much has changed. Indeed. And yet so much is the same. Parking, still a nightmare. You often speak about loving the full circle of your current roles. You're a missions associate, classroom teacher, department leader. Your balcony view of Branksome is really special. I love that. How does seeing a student from their very first interview all the way up to graduation, how does that change how you see them in the classroom?
Well, I truly enjoy meeting these potential Branksome students. They are just full of joy, full of enthusiasm when they come here. And meeting the families and hearing about their goals for their daughters, I'm just so excited to share how we can help them reach their potential, the daughter's potential. And so when they decided to join us, I have the privilege of meeting them, welcoming them to our community with, orientation events, setting them up with a buddy. And then when I get to teach them, it's even better.
You're like, I interviewed you.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm like not just a math teacher. I'm able to help them transition, find their footing. And it's like it's building that trusting and caring relationships with these students, these new students that and their parents that really it's so special. And as the instructional leader, because I already have that rapport with them when they were being interviewed, and then I was their math teacher. Well, it just makes it so much easier and to help them resolve any concerns or guide them to make, major decisions. And these precious relationships doesn't end at graduation.
Yeah.
And so it is later, these alums come back with their daughters and trusting us again with their little ones.
It's so special.
And, and being in that position as the admission associate and seeing them at open house brings me sheer joy. And it is exactly that is truly how we keep well the road as we have generations of Branksomites.
Oh, I love that. It is so true. And Edith, I just have to say, Edith, like you exude such joy and so much authenticity. And I'm so grateful that we have you, we have you in all these incredible ways academically, but then we have you as well through the admissions process. And I think you're so well positioned there because families, you can really instill this trust. You know what's happening at this school. You've been here for almost 30 years. And you really deeply understand what's happening in the classroom. So how wonderful that you get to kind of see them through that whole cycle.
Well, I'm honored to have that opportunity.
Well, you, for almost 3 decades now at Branksome, and you've seen the world change significantly, as we just talked about. No Google to using a phone book to find out where your car is impounded. From your perspective, when you think back, how has girls' education changed in those almost 3 decades? When you started teaching here, and perhaps more importantly, what do you think are the core values or aspects of Branksome that have stayed the same? So lots has changed and lots has stayed the same. Where do you see those?
Well, as I look around this room, I would say technology has fundamentally changed the way we teach and learn. When I started my journey, I taught with this really big overhead projector.
Oh, yes. We loved the overhead projectors.
And then we had the smartboard. And then we had the touchscreen TV. In terms of math, we had the basic calculator to the scientific calculator to the graphing calculator and all these graphing tools. And what these learning tools allow our students to do is to be able to visualize and interact with abstract concepts that are in algebra, in functions, in geometry, and allow them to investigate new ideas. And more recently, with the tools we have in the iHub, like the 3D printer, the laser cutter, what that has just opened doors that we couldn't even imagine decades ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like now our students can design, iterate, and then voila, you've got this physical model that really transformed from abstract to something very tangible.
Yeah.
And, similarly with AI, it has, again, transformed the way we teach and learn. It enhances our students' learning of math, allowing to have personalization, adaptive feedback, and be able to do these sophisticated data analysis. And I think that is the spirit of Branksome, that innovative spirit that has stayed the same.
Can I just ask you a question about that? So it's interesting. I was reading an article maybe a couple months back, and they were comparing people's worry about AI to the worry that people had about calculators coming into the classroom.
Exactly.
It was like in the 50s maybe or 60s.
Yes.
And they were saying there was this idea that, a lot of pushback, don't include the calculators because people won't have, it's going to take away our ability to do math and it's going to dumb down math. And actually what we learned was, it didn't do that. It actually just created opportunity for us to accelerate math learning, to do deeper learning, more sophisticated learning. And now with AI, the argument is kind of similar where It's like, it's not going to necessarily, dumb down math or other subjects. It just means that now we have to bring more humanity to the table. We have to bring more to the table as humans than we did before.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, it is exactly the same fear that math teachers had.
Yeah.
With calculators and graphing technology.
Right.
It's all the same. And we just have to embrace and think of alternative ways to use these technology to enhance how our students are going to learn in this new generation.
Not replace, transform.
Exactly.
Love that.
Exactly.
And what about what stayed the same at Branksome?
Well, I would say what has remained the same is that how Branksome has really truly cared and value relationships.
Yeah.
That has not changed. We have always embraced diversity and identity at this school. It is exactly those core values that allow us to, look at redefining the definition of girls, and also with creating these affinity groups, so that we create a safe and inclusive environment. I also find that our community is always learning. Our community members are very courageous and not afraid to do challenging work. And it is exactly those core values that allow us to engage with diversity, equity, and inclusion work, so that we can create culturally responsive curriculum and engage with civil discourse.
Yeah.
However, I think one thing that I did notice over the years that have changed is the rising level of anxiety with girls. And I think that has to do with just the competitiveness of university acceptances, with social media, cell phones. And so more than ever, social emotional learning is so vital.
So vital.
And which is why SEL has been, the core value and strategic priority for our school for the last decade.
Yeah.
We don't want our students to just be knowledgeable. We want them to have that emotional intelligence to be able to navigate whatever throws at them. And our school has really, what I've seen over the years is how I've seen the school invested in the systems, the support systems like nurses, university counselors, social workers, and learning strategies teachers, all of which we didn't have when I started here at Branksome.
Right. Yeah. I think that's such an important point. I always say, of course, as the principal of this school, of course, I want our girls to leave being academically prepared to tackle any challenge and to enter any program that they want to, but not at the cost of their mental health, not at the cost of their happiness. And I think that's something that I wish all parents could hear from us clearly. Maybe they will if they're listening to this podcast, which is, we really value academics. Of course we do. That's a cornerstone of who Branksome is. But we care so much that our girls are also leaving us not at a happiness deficit. That is so mission critical. And I always say to our girls, like, my goodness, if you're leaving us academically prepared, but you're not feeling well, or you're not leaving prepared to be a good human that impacts the world positively, what was it all for? Right? So I think it's so, so important to everything that we do. And I love hearing that that's something that's remained the same. So important. Edith, you were instrumental in redesigning the math department and specifically moving double math to the middle school. Which has been very popular and very needed, and creating a dedicated math space. So how has this physical environment of the classroom changed the way that girls brainstorm, converse, and feel about their math abilities?
Well, when I stepped into the role of the instructional leader 10 years ago, I listened carefully to our grade 11 and 12 students and parents. And what I heard was their honest reflection on balancing having math every day, CAS with creativity, action, and service portfolio, the extended essay, and a full heavy load of new courses for
Yeah.
these students. So in response to their well-being, as we just discussed, we embarked on this transformational change to move, shift that curriculum into our middle school. And it made a lot of sense because research has said that, the 12-year-olds and the 13-year-old brain is very flexible.
Right.
So that's really the perfect time to stretch and challenge them. And it also came at a time where the Ministry of Education in Ontario has implemented the 60 minutes math every day from grade 1 to grade 8. So to support this change, Branksome has invested in smaller math classes in grade 7 and 8. We created a dedicated space in the middle school on the upper floor where we have 3 classrooms and a breakout space. And what that has allowed our teachers to do is to create centers and also very focused, student-centered group interactions.
Right.
And, I have to say, the IB, when we brought IB to the school, it has really changed the way we teach and learn because it is based on the framework of inquiry-based learning. And with the MYP, with the middle years program, it really focuses on teaching the students the skills to learn how to learn.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, our math team basically deconstructed our math classrooms. And we started with just tearing out the walls and replaced them with non-permanent vertical non-permanent spaces.
Right.
And what that does is we get our students out of their chairs, stay away from the laptops, and they're all up, in small groups doing problem solving. And the research has shown when you're actually standing up, the blood flows get to your brain. So you're better at focusing. And most important of all is the idea that it is erasable.
Yeah.
It allows our students to feel safe, to take risks.
Make a mistake.
Exactly. And even in these low stake environment, even our quieter students feels that they can contribute.
Yeah.
And so this approach really allows, everyone to look around the walls and see they're making that thinking visible. And as a teacher, I can look around and I can give immediate feedback. I can then invite the students to learn from each other's different strategies or mistakes that they make. And so as we shifted from this traditional classroom, what we found is that the students are more persistent, they're more resilient, and they're willing to take more risks.
I've seen this in action when I've been visiting classrooms. I think it's an incredible approach for everything that you've mentioned, but also, when I'm observing these math classes, what's interesting to me is when you've got a small group of kids, you've got 3 girls or 2 girls working together in this vertical way, making their thinking visible, they're able to, in real time, peer-to-peer, really dig into the inquiry and the conceptual learning of that question. They're able to ask real-time, quick questions, get answers, grapple with, oh, no, I think I'm right. Oh, why do you think you're right? It's just a different approach. It makes it so much more accessible for them and more efficient in terms of their learning.
And collaborative.
So collaborative. And
Yes.
I think if there's something I could shout from the rooftops at Branksome, it would be like, hey, everybody, we use such a data-driven approach. Even hearing you talk about, double math makes sense in middle school because their brains are more flexible, right? We use data-driven approaches to make sure that we're teaching in a way that supports their age and stage.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I'd want to shout from the rooftop is IB is different than you think it is. I think people assume, we hear a lot that people say, oh, well, the IB, must be really hard. I'm like, no, the IB, I think people confuse the IB, quote unquote, like our PYP program, which is primary years program, MYP program. They're conflating it all with maybe DPHL math. That's not, which could be
Just
a challenging course.
Exam. Yeah.
It's not what it's about. It's about an inquiry-based approach to learning, a collaborative based approach to learning. So I'm glad that we could kind of unpack that a little bit. I think it's so important.
Yeah, it's about teaching the students, the big ideas,
Yes.
and that how it transcends through different subjects,
Yeah.
and showing them that we learn this math through different global contexts and
Yes.
applying them in real life situations.
Yeah, it's the transferable skills, and
Absolutely.
it's not about rote memorization, although that has a place, in certain parts of math, but it's not about that. It goes far more deeper and really allows our kids to transfer it to other disciplines in an interconnected way.
Absolutely.
You guys are so masterful at that. Edith, I love that you've said grade 9 is your absolute favorite grade to teach. Why is that specific year such a sweet spot, do you think, for girls in their educational journey?
Well, during my first few years at Branksome, I taught grade 9 to grade 13 year after year. And that has allowed me to see the progression of the math curriculum. And it is such a special place to allow me to see and watch our students grow, and not just mathematically,
Right.
but as a person. And then, when they graduate, the cycle starts all over again with their younger sister. And it is incredibly rewarding to see them through to graduation. But grade 9 is such a unique sweet spot, as you said, for me, because at that age, students are just coming out of that awkwardness of the young adolescence, and they're starting fresh in high school. And so I find them still curious. They're open to new ideas, and they're incredibly enthusiastic. And so it allows me to do some fun stuff with them. Like we can still be silly and sing math songs. We do functions aerobics. We dance on Fridays.
Oh, spoiler. Maybe there'll be a little something for our viewers at the end of this episode.
Maybe. And what I've noticed over the years is just the brains of the grade 9s. It's such a pivotal stage where they're just starting to develop that abstract reasoning.
Yeah.
So it is like this golden opportunity for me to shift any fixed mindset about math and help them, develop that sense of confidence about math again, and perhaps love math all over again.
I love that. As the mom of a grade 9 girl, I love hearing you say that. I think grade 9 girls are just such a special age. And I think sometimes teenage girls get a bad rap, and it's not fair because they're wonderful kids.
So much growth over that year. Love them.
I know they're the best. Okay, fabulous. So let's move on to a different topic. Long before service learning was a buzzword, or long before schools, everyone had service learning departments, you were taking your advisor groups out to volunteer. I'm not surprised by this. And based on your own commitment to and passion for service, what do you think sparked that passion for service in others? And how do early initiatives like the Triangle of Hope, with Rose Avenue Public School, for example, how did that set the stage for the community focus that now has really become a signature at Branksome?
Just as you were like bringing all this back for me, such fond memories of taking my very first advisor group to St. Jamestown. We were scrubbing the change rooms, and during the winter months, we were cooking, and we cooked and served meals to parties out of the cold program at just St. Simon's Church down the road. St. Jamestown is only 10 minutes away from Branksome. And I just felt like it is the perfect location for my advisor group to broaden their perspectives and be able to do something meaningful and do something team bonding together. And so over the years, with so many different advisor groups, we continue to volunteer for, like, the CIBC Run for the Cure. We supported the food bank. And what I wanted to instill in our young people is that when we're giving our time, our talent, our effort, we'll be so surprised to find that we get so much more out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is that reflection, only when we reflect upon it, that the students realize, wow, I have developed a lot of new skills. And it is such a rewarding experience. And so it is through this connection with St. Jamestown that we got connected with Rose Avenue Public School. And so I worked with a principal and a very inspiring teacher there. I started the Jump Math program and a homework club.
Mm-hmm.
And so every Wednesday after school, I'll take about 40 to 45 of our senior school students to Rose Ave, and they were tutors. And they acted as tutors. At the end of the school year, we bring all those little ones over to our junior school playground, and we have a little celebration. And then, a few years later, this partnership grew with where I kind of recruited our music teachers, and we built a music program on Wednesdays as well. Branksome so kindly and generous in lending instruments so that these little elementary school students get to learn an instrument from our music teachers and our students. And they have throw a concert at the end of the school year to celebrate their success. And it was while I was building these service opportunities, and Carrie Weinstock was working with Peter Oliver and the Leacock Foundation to establish the Triangle of Hope with an independent school, an inner city public school, and the Queenstown Get Ahead project in South Africa. And so it is for promoting literacy, leadership, cultural exchange. It just felt like the stars were just all aligned for us to have this long-lasting relationship and reciprocal relationship with Rose Ave.
I was lucky enough to go a couple of times and see it in action, and I just loved it. I mean, our girls are so excited to see their little buddies, and the little buddies are so excited to see our girls as well. And I was really impressed to see the depth that they go into in the homework club and with math. I mean, they're really teaching a lot of awesome skills, and it gives so much extra practice. I remember back in my hometown in New Brunswick, we had a similar program. So it was with our high school. So our high school kids would come down and tutor us at the elementary school, Queen Elizabeth Elementary School, Moncton, New Brunswick. Shout out. And they would come, and I still remember my buddy. I remember very clearly. She was so lovely. Her name was Jessica. Taught me so many skills. These kids are going to have be impacted by this for years to come, and in a reciprocal way. Absolutely. Love that. You are a proud donor, Edith, to Branksome and to your alma mater, so McGill University, University of Toronto. And I understand that you have committed to leaving legacy gifts to these 3 schools, which is so impressive and so incredible. When you think about Branksome specifically and your involvement with 10 Elms Society, what is the why behind that decision? And what do you hope this and your other planned gifts, what do you hope that will do for the next generation of students?
The why is simple. The why is very simple. It's to want to give back. Going to give back to Branksome for the countless opportunities that I received. Wow. Throughout my career, I have received unwavering support from my community service initiatives, co-curricular initiatives, all the math advancements. I am so grateful and benefited so much from all the PD the school has sent me to. Branksome changed me and shaped me to be the person I am today. And so I'm hoping that my legacy gifts will help future students and educators to continue to evolve and grow with Branksome and have the tools and the freedom to continue to learn, to grow, and lead.
It's so inspiring, Edith. It's just beautiful to hear how much Branksome means to you. And I find myself in my second year at this school still being touched and surprised when Branksome is really a part of people in a very deep way. And so it's really powerful to hear you speak about our school and our students that way. We're so lucky to have you. You've been a longstanding leader, Edith, outside of the classroom and beyond Branksome's halls. Can you tell us a little bit about something that our students and our parents may have no idea about, which is your work as an IBEN educator and workshop leader? And you've been doing that for years, since 2011.
Yep.
And for those of you, our listeners and watchers who don't know, that acronym IBEN is a global community of educators who make up the International Baccalaureate Educator Network.
Mm-hmm.
And you have quite a role to have. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that means?
Well, I would admit that there's definitely a learning curve as I transition from teaching students to teaching adults, and not just any adults. We're talking math teachers here.
Yep.
And at these workshops, I work with administrators and even seasoned math teachers who have even taught longer than I have. I facilitate IB workshops for educators across Canada and the US, and to help them basically implement the IB framework. So my role is to help them help mentor these teachers to develop units, lessons, and assessments that align with the IB mission. And it is a wonderful opportunity for me to model the IB pedagogy with a very diverse group of teachers. And I think what I bring to the table is that the understanding of the demands of being a math teacher, and also just recognizing the challenge in aligning your local curriculum with IB and your cultural context. And so leading these workshops is another way for me to give back. Yeah. Love sharing my experiences, working shoulder to shoulder with peers. It's also a great way for me to get out of these halls and actually learn from other math teachers too. It is a reciprocal two-way street.
Bring it back to your practice.
Yeah. And so being part of the IBEN really keeps me at the forefront of what's going on at IB. I get to benefit from having ongoing training from the IB. I also get to have a little bit of, the inside scoop of what's happening, coming up, all the changes in the standards and practices. And while I'm at these conferences, I also get to network with other workshop leaders, which again, helps me to
so important.
Help me to network, help me to build my leadership skills, and bring back the best practices to Branksome.
That's wonderful, because our girls deserve it. In 2022, I mean, Branksome is always proud of you, but so proud because you won the very prestigious Rene Descartes Medal, which is a province-wide honor, and you movingly dedicated that award to your late mother, Anna. Could you share a bit about the values that she instilled in you that guided you in your career as an educator? She's such a special lady.
Well, receiving the Rene Descartes Medal is truly the highest honor for my professional career. And this award recognizes educators in Ontario who made a significant contribution to mathematics through their leadership, community engagement, mentorship, both inside and outside of the classroom. And I still get goosebumps when I share with people that I learned I have had received the award on my mom's birthday, a month after she passed. And it felt like
so special, Edith.
It felt like a beautiful sign that she was proud of the work I was doing as an educator.
No doubt.
And my mom she spent most of her life making a difference in the lives of young people. And she stayed close to them, and they grew to call her godmother. She is truly the strongest person I've ever met. She always persevered through challenges with a big, caring, open heart. She always lived with the philosophy of giving second chances and forgiveness. She was very selfless and never expected anything in return. So beyond teaching me being kind and being respectful, she instilled in me that sense of responsibility and the importance of integrity. So I carry those with me into my career. And, teaching isn't a job. It's really,
It's a lifestyle.
it's the work of the heart. And so I dedicated the reward to my mom because of her unconditional love for me and others.
Oh, it's so special, Edith. And as I was hearing you describe your mom and these words that you were using to describe her, I hope you know that so many people would use those words to describe you.
Mm.
So, wow, how special. The apple doesn't roll far from the tree, right? Well, you are such an incredible leader in our school. You've led our math department
Mhm.
for a number of years, for almost a decade, right?
Mhm.
This is 10 years.
Yeah.
And hired 75% of your current team. So you've been instrumental. And as you prepare to step down
Mhm.
from the IL or instructional leader role, what's your philosophy on mentorship, on passing the torch and pulling up others behind you,
Mhm.
the new generation of leaders like our incoming
Mhm.
instructional leader,
Mhm.
David Fournier?
Mhm.
Dr. Fournier, as the kids love to call him.
Yes. Well, over the years, I've had the pressure actually of mentoring several incoming ILs. So, have some practice of being the mentor.
good.
I think, to me, mentorship is more than just, sharing the logistics. It's
Mhm.
about, um, sharing the institutional knowledge and experience, and perhaps some wisdom from what I've learned. It's about being that steady, consistent coach to help them navigate the challenges, and then just embrace the failures, the mistakes, and and nurture that resilience. And so mentorship is again my way of giving back.
Mhm.
And for all the kindness and support that I got from throughout my own journey. And so by passing on the torch to the next generation, we get new, fresh ideas, but it's all built upon a solid foundation.
Yeah.
So that what maintains what we keep is that continuity, that the long lasting impact that we have for our students.
I think that's so important. And it's built on a solid foundation. And I think what's wonderful is you're still here. People can
Yes.
always reach out to you and
Absolutely.
for those questions.
Absolutely.
So similarly, I think we're now getting to the age in our career where you start seeing kids that you taught,
Mhm.
and then they're coming back
Yes.
for a reunion, or as you said,
Uh-huh.
bringing their own children.
Uh-huh.
It feels good, and it also makes you
Mhm.
feel like, oh wow, I'm
Hmm.
really experienced. We'll say I've really become more experienced. We'll just put it that way. You're now seeing them come back. Some of your earlier students in their
Mhm.
reunions in their 40s, when you see women and you see what they become, doctors, artists,
Mhm.
mothers,
Mhm.
leaders, what does that tell you about your impact and Branksome's
Mhm.
long-term impact? It's so special to see that.
It is when they come back, they're not talking about what math concept or what math lesson we did.
No, seriously?
They come back and they tell us just how they felt being seen, being known,
Yeah.
and being celebrated.
Yeah.
And it is that they tell us that because these are the relationship and that sense of community that really stayed with our alums for a lifetime. It is not just knowledge that we impart in them. It's these life skills that shape these women and, into responsible, citizens and
women.
leaders in our society.
Yeah.
Well, our alums are the living proof of that.
Yeah.
As you empower a girl, they will change the world. And
Yep.
so, Branksome is such a special place where we have reunion every year. For me as a teacher to see them year after year, it is the greatest reward as a teacher. And it just reminds me, why we do what we do every day.
It's amazing. It brings so much meaning. And I love last year, my first experience at our reunion weekend. I was blown away. I mean, my goodness, I think we had 400 people,
Mhm.
right? Around 400, maybe a little bit more
Mhm.
come. And this year, the same.
Yeah.
All of these incredible women just coming back in droves to Branksome because they can't wait to be here. They can't wait to reconnect. And I
Yes.
hear their stories, they hear what they're doing, and I think, wow, like what a special community. These women really go on to change the world.
Branksome's a very special place
It
that
is.
you find that. Yeah.
So you're transitioning to a new role next year. You
Mhm.
are now going to be at 80% of your time in admissions. So
Yes.
exciting.
I
And we're
am
so
very
excited for you. What's a piece of advice you often find yourself giving prospective families
Mhm.
when they come to visit Branksome about, what makes Branksome special, the
Mhm.
qualities of a Branksome girl? What do you find yourself
Mhm.
saying to families as they come in?
Well, I always tell prospective families that our facilities are impressive, but at the heart of Branksome, it's the people.
Yeah.
So, my best piece of advice is look beyond the walls and really get a feeling about our community. Really see the warmth and genuine people that you meet and just the collaborative nature and relationship that you see between the students and
Yeah.
the educators that support them. I hear back from new students just as soon as they come into the school, they get a feel for whether they can see themselves in this space, whether they can see themselves thrive in the space. So when parents ask me, what defines that Branksome girl, I think about, a student who is warm,
Mhm.
caring, compassionate,
Mhm.
a young woman who is inquisitive, a critical thinker, and a collaborator.
Yeah.
They, often I hear our alums, after first year, they are our Branksomites are just not afraid to step into something, step outside their comfort zone, to use their voice to stand up for what they believe in.
Challenge the status quo.
And then
Mhm.
and tackle complex problems with such confidence.
Yeah.
We have equipped our students with a growth mindset and such emotional maturity, which allows them to thrive, with the demands of academics, athletics, arts, co-curriculars, community service.
It's so incredible. We were really lucky in January to host Oasis Days. We hosted heads of schools from international schools all over the world for a day at Branksome as part of the AAIE conference. And, I said to them, they were so impressed with our facilities and so impressed with our new building opening. And they were like,
Yeah.
wow, what's the ICAS? It looks incredible. And we showed them the fly through of the building. And I said, it is incredible. Our facilities are amazing, but it's not our secret sauce. Our secret sauce are the people that are in these buildings making learning come alive. It's the people at Branksome. I've never worked at a place like this. The people are so dedicated to what they do. So I absolutely agree with what you've just said. It's pretty amazing. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Edith. And we're going to
Thank
close
you,
with
Grace.
our rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So the first question is, what's a guilty pleasure that you would never give up, Miss Louie?
Shopping.
Oh, I like it. Online shopping or in-person shopping?
In-person shopping.
Oh, you're good. Oh, wow.
I'm
Good for
old
you.
school.
I
Still like
that.
to touch the fabric and touch.
Yeah. See what it feels like. Good for you.
Mhm.
If you could switch lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
An astronaut at the ISS so that I can look at our beautiful planet from space.
I feel like there's got to be some kind of a teacher. We can get you up there, Edith. Make it happen. What's the best piece of advice that you've received?
Oh, my mom drilled it in me. Work hard and stay humble.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That really describes you. You work hard and you are so humble. In a word or a phrase, what would you like to be remembered for at Branksome?
A sense of service.
Well, I think you've achieved that already. Wonderful. And what's a song that you like to play on repeat?
Oh, that one's easy. I listen to it and I drive to school every morning. Under Pressure by David Bowie and Queen.
Oh,
Grace,
Edith,
what do you say? Shall we dance it out?
Of course. Are you inviting me to a dance party?
Little dance party right here.
As if I would
And
say
like
no.
Fit Friday on.
As if I would say no to that. Let's make it
Awesome.
happen.